we talked just briefly about the nexus between Islamicists and critical race theory in schools. Can you go into that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, for listeners who don't know me, I'll just introduce myself just for a minute, just to give them context about what I carry in my heart. I was born as the first generation post-colonial in India in 1965. My parents lived through British colonialism. So you could say that they lived under, quote, white supremacy because the British were white and there were my parents who were, quote, people of color, right? My father literally climbed a banyan tree to support Gandhi as he marched for independence.
And let me say that I am a huge fan of Winston Churchill, but the guy was a monster in India. He was a monster.
And, the truth is, this is the realities, of history, right? But my father carried in his heart hope. My dad is 5'3" because he lived through the Bengal famine that a lot of listeners might not even know about. But it was a famine that was man-made exactly by the British government because they needed to divert food from India to the British Army. So it was their survival. Well, my dad, even at that height, had hope in his heart, and he came to America, and he became a student here to study nutrition, to help people with food security issues, and bring relief to humanity. My mother came and then brought my brother and me. They didn't come with a grudge in their heart, against the, quote, systemic racism that had held our country hostage, right, for so many years. They came to create a new life. And I just bring this up because there's this choice that we can all make about how we're going to navigate our futures. And my parents made this really bold and pioneering decision to tap America's equality and vision for its citizens to improve the condition of our family, and that's the family in which I grew up, right? And then I was a young Muslim girl, didn't go to my prom because I wasn't allowed to dance with the boys. Never dated until I secretly did. Never had a beer until my friend Danny Pearl introduced me to the delicacies of wheat beer. Yeah. But this is all just to say that we're all on these journeys, and then 9/11 happened, and my dear friend Danny was kidnapped and murdered, and I had my reality check that, hey, there is this interpretation within Islam that is dangerous, that is laying siege to beautiful, innocent human beings like Danny, and I had to stand up and fight back. And what I encountered is exactly what you did, Glenn. Our biographies are completely different, but our analysis is similar, which is there is an interpretation within Islam that's problematic. Just like in every other religion and every other society, there's an extremist strain. But we got branded racist and Islamophobe. And it was only last summer that I finally could put the pieces together that our Islamists, these people that you described really well as folks who want Islam and religion in governance, they use...
Not in governance. As the government.
Yes, absolutely, exactly, as governance. They want Islamic State, basically. So our examples out there in the world are the theocracies that are in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, now emerging in Afghanistan again.
Iran.
So in Iran, exactly. And what gets denied? Women's rights, human rights, rights,
gay rights,
all minorities, exactly, all the, quote, liberal values that even I embraced growing up as a progressive, bleeding heart liberal. So you and I both have faced this, and that's why I kind of remembered, this idea of fear, because they've come after you. You know, they've come after your job. They've come after your reputation. Character assassination is their modus operandi, right? They invented cancel culture. But I finally last summer got to really understand that what they did is they had no defense, really, to their illiberal ideas. So what they had to do was create a defense. And one of your listeners actually put it really well in a tweet that he wrote in response to the video you posted yesterday from our interview. He said that they used critical race theory as a shield to protect their bad ideas. And what they could do then is racialize Muslims, make us a race, so that you became racist if you criticize extremism. And that is what we've faced over these last 20 years as we've grappled with this just like industry, right, that calls everybody an Islamophobe if they dare to talk about the extremism issue.
So how is the Islamist movement involved at all, and why would they be involved with getting critical race theory into our schools?
Yeah, so Glenn, let me tell you how I realized this happened. In the summer of 2020, the Secretary of Education started secret meetings in order to eliminate the merit-based race-blind test at my son's high school in Northern Virginia called Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. It's the #1 high school in America, creating scientists and inventors. Yeah. This method has become replicated in San Francisco, Boston, New York, in order to destroy merit and advanced learning in the name of, quote, equity. But this
right. And they're saying that whiteness. So it's important to understand when they say whiteness is a problem. What they mean are things like merit-based programs. So striving to achieve, actually achieving something, working for what you get. That's the Western culture, and that's what they want destroyed.
Yeah, and ultimately, you know, it's a universal culture, right? Also, because everybody, like in many cultures, strives to accomplish. So you cannot attribute it simply to white supremacy as they're trying to do. Because my family is a perfect example. That's why I wanted to introduce your listeners to my family's story. Because we are 70% Asian at my son's school. My family is emblematic of this story of immigrants pursuing the American dream. But Glenn, get this. That Secretary of Education, his name is Atif Karni. I looked up his political contributions, and he is funded by the Islamist network in Northern Virginia. I was like, what the heck? Yeah.
So we only have like 2 minutes here, and I know we run out of time, but
I know. I just leave you with this, like, what? I know. You're like, wait a second. I didn't expect this to go there. Okay, let me quickly tell the listeners and you what's going on is the Islamists are using this leftist agenda of critical race theory in order to bring in their agenda of anti-Western curriculum, anti-Israel curriculum, pro-Palestinian, intifada type of material from California to Minnesota. This is the danger. Ultimately, it's an anti-American propaganda.
Right. And we are being made into Israel and the Palestinian situation. That we are being broken up. And you are a mean Israeli if you're just trying to defend yourself. You're a horrible racist state, and it's being done now to us. And this is how it's being done. And the left. This is why I believe the left has embraced Islam or Islamists so hard, is because they both have the same goal.